Hi, I'm Marty Nemko. Whether it's that brief coffee meeting after you met online or a first date, a traditional type, the following pertains. First, dress and behave as you would in the relationship. It's a mistake to put on a show to make a good first impression. You can't and don't want to get the person to like you based on a persona that you can or don't want to keep up. So, if you're a casual dresser, dress casually. If you're serious, don't try to be perky. If you like to listen more than talk, do so, although do try to talk at least a quarter of the time. Ask questions of the person, both to take the pressure off you and to show you're not egotistical. At your first meeting, give credence to your first impression of the person. Of course, there's physical attractiveness. Sometimes photos, even if recent and in focus, may not reveal that je ne sais quoi. Sure, sometimes the chemistry grows, but often your first intuition is right. It's kind of like what the SAT tutors say. Usually your first guess is the right one. Can you see yourself both physically involved and pleased to be seen with this person as your romantic partner? Is their mode of dress at least somewhat acceptable? The relationship may not work if you're mainstream and he or she looks like a throwback to the hippie 60s, plus tats, piercings, and green hair. If it's not just a fling, even in the first few seconds, you probably can get a preliminary sense of whether he or she is appropriately intelligent, achievement motivated, emotionally together, and kind. For example, if his or her first line comes out without much hesitation and is clever but not cutesy, it speaks to intelligence as well as having a measure of emotional security. Another sign of being emotionally together is good eye contact and not appearing unduly stressed. Of course, everybody's a little stressed on a first date. Signs of being achievement motivated include choosing an appropriate meeting place, being on time, and speaking concisely rather than discursively. Assess kindness by seeing if the person seems interested in you and others, not just him or herself. Without being a Pollyanna, does his or her view of people seem reasonably positive? Assessing kindness may be especially easy with people over 35. It's said that after that age, we wear our personality on our face. Look, for example, at the corners of his or her mouth. Turn slightly upward, downward, or neutral. The tendency to smile or frown may be etched in. Listen more than talk. Even if you're talkative by nature, it's probably wise, especially in a first meeting, to talk maybe 20 to 40% of the time. Not only does that suggest that you care about the other person, it affords you more opportunity to assess him or her. Does the person sound interesting, intelligent, kind? Does she make reasonable inferences from what you've said? Show the right balance of talking and listening. Upbeat and serious, patient but not a slug. You sense she's low maintenance, or he is low maintenance, emotionally or materially. If the person talks more than just a bit about drugs or alcohol, you sense she might have a substance abuse problem, or he. You sense that he or she is generous, for example, offering to pay at least half. What to say? Starting with a bit of small talk allows people to relax a bit. In a first meeting, it's often wise to start with a positive environmental comment. No, I'm not talking about climate change, but about the immediate environment. For example, I go to this coffee shop pretty often. I like it. How about you? After your opening comment or question, listen, really listen, and then say or ask something in response. You probably don't want to unearth deep, dark secrets, but it's often valuable and possible to quickly have a substantive conversation that can help you both assess compatibility, as well as potentially start a real relationship. Here's just a sample. Person 1 says, so, this is my second coffee date from Match.com. How about you? It's my third. Your tone of voice suggests that they weren't rousing successes. They were okay. How about yours? Okay, minus. You want to tell me about it? Well, she talked mainly about her upcoming vacation. Not that interesting. What's top of mind for you these days? Well, I'm pretty involved at work. We're rolling out a next-generation antidepressant app. Are you dealing with depression? Nah, I'm just your garden variety worry wart. I kind of am too. You tell me about yours, I'll tell you about mine. Well, I worry about my son. I think he's just an active boy, and he's bored in school, but the teacher wants him evaluated for ADHD. I'd worry too. Do you see having more kids? One's enough for now. For now? Well, who knows? You'd have 9 more? She smiles, and then asks, do you have kids? Note that both people talked about the same amount and that their comments were brief. That back and forth leads to more connection than do lecturettes. The longer your statements, the more likely you'll be viewed as egotistical. That's another minus of that. Do try to restrain confirmation bias, at least for the first 15 or 30 minutes, after which you might decide, nope. Try to restrain your confirmation bias, that is, ignoring input that conflicts with your first impression. While first impressions are often accurate, they're incorrect often enough that you should try to withhold ossified judgment for a bit. Besides, giving the person 15 to 30 minutes is polite. The person made an effort to prepare and show up, and feel the anxiety that's common in first dates. Now let's turn to the goodbye of a first date. If after 15 to 30 minutes you're clear it's not a match made in heaven or even here on earth, crisply but kindly end it. For example, you might say something like, I appreciate our visit, and you're quite attractive, but our energy levels are quite different, plus you're intensely political and I'm not. I wish you the best. If the person does seem worth another get-together, it's probably still too early for getting together that would require hours of talking like dinner. But consider instead going to a movie or to hear a talk. There'll be time to converse before and after, and a movie or talk provides a topic of conversation. If you'd like to see the person again, make the date right then, or at least specify when you'll be back in touch. It's rude to leave a person hanging. How about sex? Of course, the best laid plans can go awry if sparks burst into flames, but it's usually wise to decide in advance that unless you're looking just for sports sex, you'll restrain intimacy for a few dates, especially if for you, having sex establishes a hard-to-break bond. Do try to maintain high standards. Even if you are far from perfect, there is a person who, among the frogs, is your prince or princess. I thank you for watching. I am Marty Nemko. I welcome your thumbs up and accept your thumbs down. I look forward to any comments you might have. I would like it if you would hit the share button and share on your social media and or subscribe to my channel. And in any event, I do thank you for watching. I'm Marty Nemko.